Hi, it's Dave Malkoff in Glasgow, Scotland. I've got a question for you. What in the world is this big thing? It is a blank, blank, and blank unit. We will fill in the blanks after we track down U.S. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm.
I am super excited that, for example, today we're going to be announcing technology partnership that will remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, a carbon negative shot, which is very exciting. We've announced two other shots, which is to make sure that we reduce the cost of long duration storage at utilities for storing clean energy, for example. So all those kind of technologies are very exciting to help the world get to the goal of net zero carbon emissions by 2030.
What does it actually mean when you hear about these countries stopping their coal production and coal usage, and they've signed on to this deal? Does that actually mean that coal is going to be a fuel of the past?
Well, I think everybody sees where the direction is going. The market has indicated where they are going in terms of coal. The United States wants to see an acceleration of movement toward clean rather than fossil fuels. So I think that the consensus around this is very, very exciting. That we see a huge consensus around deploy clean and move in the direction of clean rather than fossil fuels.
Secretary, it's Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm. We just talked to her really quickly, but we had a sit-down interview in Washington, D.C. Here's a bit of our conversation before the conference started over at the Energy Department in Washington. What excites you that's happening?
Oh my gosh, so much excites me that's happening. One is to reduce the cost of clean hydrogen by 80% by 2030.
How do you make hydrogen? There's no river of hydrogen on Earth.
Right. Maybe you can make hydrogen from wind and solar, crack apart, take the hydrogen, compress it, store it. If you can create it with clean sources, it is amazing. If you compress it, you can actually send it, you can ship it. It's one way to sort of export renewable energy, if you will. So it's a super exciting technology.
Madam Secretary, thank you so much for joining us here.
Yeah, you bet. Great.
Okay, let's fill in those blanks here. As you can guess from the interview with Secretary Granholm, this is what she thinks is the future of energy. This is a hydrogen production and storage unit. It's the same thing she was talking about, using the power of the sun to break apart the H2O in water. So you've got the H, which is the hydrogen, it goes into the tank. The O goes into the air as just oxygen. And the way it breaks it apart is using the power of the sun. It's a process called electrolysis, which actually breaks apart those atoms. And then you now have this machine that will store the hydrogen, and you can plug into that using what is called a fuel cell. That actually uses hydrogen and produces electricity and water. That's way more than green. In Glasgow, Scotland, I'm Dave Malkoff, the Weather Channel.